Hi guys, and welcome to Coffee Break Tips, the show where you learn something about marketing in less than it takes you to drink a cup of coffee. I'm Miguel from Singlot, and let's jump right in. In today's episode, we'd like to show you something that we have been using for a while, and it has to do with one of the platforms we use on a regular basis. That platform is none other than Google Ads, and the feature itself is called the Auction Insights. What the Auction Insight allows you to do is to see how your keywords are competing against other advertisers, whether or not you're winning the bid or it's the advertisers that you're competing against that are winning those keywords. When you start advertising in the search network in Google Ads, obviously you're going to be basing those campaigns in keywords, and those keywords you need to win. That's the basics of a Google Ads search network. However, it's not always about winning all the keywords that you've selected. You need to have a strategy behind why you selected certain keywords, and obviously we recommend that you do analysis prior to running your campaigns. But once you have that in mind, it's important to win the keywords that are relevant for you. So now comes the part of showing you the audience insights and what to look for in it. So once you're there, you're going to see a lot of different elements, and obviously we'll go through each of them and I'll explain to you why they're important and what they display. The first element you're going to see is the impression share. The impression share is the amount of impressions you got divided by the amount of estimated impressions you could have got. It's also a bit confusing, but essentially what it tells you is that under any other circumstance, if you had no competitors, you would have got more impressions than you actually did. That doesn't mean that those impressions were always going to be yours 100%, but it tells you that if you choose that strategy that you're following, you're getting this amount of impressions. So it's a good indicator to show that you have competition, obviously. The second metric we're going to be looking at is the overlap rate. This metric shows you how often another advertiser has gotten impressions in the same auction you're present in. Obviously, if this number is very high, what that means is that for each of the keywords you're selecting, it may be all of them, you always have someone competing against them. That means that you should probably change the approach, or obviously if you really want to go that route, you can outbid your competition. This is something we do not recommend. However, it can also be the other way around. It can show you, if you have a very low number, say 10, 20%, it can show you that you're pretty much dominant in that market and maybe you should continue to do so. The third metric we're going to be looking at is the position above the rate. What this does is basically show you how many times one ad has been placed before your ad. So imagine you're competing for the same keyword. If you're doing a better job, your ad will be above the competition and vice versa. This is the only thing this is showing you. Once again, this is a good indicator to see if what you're doing with your campaigns and your keywords is actually yielding good results. However, do not take this information as the only thing that matters, because it could be plenty of reasons why your ad is actually below your competitor. Maybe your competitor is willing to pay more money for that keyword. Have that in mind when you see these results. Very linked to that one, we have the next metric, which is the top of the page rate. What this does is basically show you how often the competitor's ad was higher in the page than yours. And once again, the reasons may be quite similar, so take that information with a grain of salt. Finally, the metric that you may be more interested in is the outranking share. What this shows is basically how often your ads were outranked by your competitors. And once again, this is a good indicator because it will show you if you're doing a good job with certain specific keywords. What we recommend as a rule of thumb is that the first time you see the auction insight, you select all your keywords and then you get a big picture of what the competition is. And then you can go one by one, keyword by keyword, because that's actually going to be more relevant. Remember, in the search network, it's all about winning that auction for that specific keyword you want to compete with, but do not try to win it at all costs, because that will only engage in a very inflationary war between you and the other advertiser, because you're going to be outbidding just in terms of money. That's something that will benefit Google, but will not necessarily benefit you. Try to always think of the keyword that better represents what you want to achieve and try to win that. It's much better to be specific in one area and try to win absolutely everything that you own. Unless you are a big corporation like Pepsi or Coca-Cola, you are not in that position to do so. So try to stick to what really gives value and pretty much ignore the rest. And this is it for this week. This feature is highly specific to obviously only Google Ads, but it is highly recommended that you start using it. That will allow you to see much better what keywords you are actually winning, which keywords you are not, and obviously to understand a bit more what approach you want to take with your Google Ads. Remember, it's not always about winning all your keywords. There will be moments where you will lose against other competitors, and as I mentioned in the video, there's a very wide array of reasons why that will be the case. Just stick to your strategy, try to think of what you want to achieve with your campaigns, and try to win those keywords that are relevant for you. We hope this one was useful for you, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.